We created this calculator to help you truly understand what the profitability is of each of your projects. We invited our client Chris to come join us. He is the CEO of Fenwick, a creative studio. We walk through a project he actually has live, and we use this calculator to answer 3 key questions. Is the project actually profitable? What are his margins? And should he reconsider his pricing? Take a look.
Let's call our income on this $25,000 and we'll figure it out as we go. I have a rough sense of what that means to us. And then we'll see if I end up in the red, and we'll tell you something about how I've been running things and why.
Well, that's I love it.
Keeping fingers crossed for you.
Yeah. All right, when we're our first employee.
Let's say the creative director is putting in 10 hours upfront because we need that person thinking through the concepts, right? Like Fenwick rarely just starts producing an ebook. We'll often have that person go look at a bunch of alternatives and come back and pitch some kind of creative theme that ties it all together. We also have this process where we call it writing times design. We involve anyone who's involved later upfront. So if we're going to be producing an ebook, we involve the designer, we involve the writer so that we don't get 90% of the way done. And then the designer's like, well, this isn't physically possible. You don't have photos of this sort of. So the next thing is I'd say, let's put the writer on it. And the writer might put like 2 hours upfront in the creative process. And then let's say the writer puts another, for a project this size, let's say they put another 20 hours, like maybe 22 hours total. Excellent. And then the designer, let's say the designer is going to put in 35 hours total, because whereas words are relatively easy to move around, design is going to involve more rounds of feedback. And then we've got a proofreader. So let's say we probably use the writer category for that at the same rate. And let's say that proofreader needs to put in 8 hours total on this. And then honestly, at the end of this, we probably would nearly double all of this just because of the rounds of feedback, right? If this gets us to an ebook and a whole bunch of articles, that creative director who put in 10 hours up front is going to have to keep explaining things to people. So honestly, it's probably closer to 20. I might double all of these.
So let's say 44, 70.
Out of curiosity, Chris, just because maybe it's like helpful for folks on here, what have you kind of changed about that process? Like you said, oh, now you're involving a lot of people up front, like the designer up front. Yeah. Had you always done that, or did you kind of through process?
Yeah, I mean, we had always done it, and we had always done it in a sort of messy way of just insisting on doing the right thing for quality and then trusting that the finances were going to work themselves out on the back end. So like, I think you're hearing me talk through live the thought process. For due dates, for example, when a client asks for a deadline, we don't give a deadline to when the whole project will be done. We give a deadline for what the first draft due date is. That's what we can control. I can't control anything that happens after that. And we've had a 10-week project that has turned into 10 months because we're just chasing subject experts who never review, and they take 7 months to review. And when they review, they're like, this looks good. So their input wasn't actually necessary. And a lot of our processes are trying to constrain that and create a good system so that people know how to give input, where to give input, but it definitely requires a lot of that management. So creative director, writer, designer, proofreader. Let's say that the client is like, hey, I want some LinkedIn graphics. I need them to be animated. Probably that's another 15 hours, let's say, for a video motion person. And that sounds about right. So that is definitely not a great margin. It's a margin. It's not a great margin. I think what this is useful for is if I look at that up front and I think the client wants to sign something for $25,000, generally I'm like, yeah, we could do that. And this provides the reality of, okay, what is it really going to take? One way to think about this as well is the client affects these numbers a lot. So when you're working with a really effective, efficient client who understands a good creative process, that person will know that they should be front loading their feedback. The worst thing that can happen is I price as this, and I am okay with a 27% margin. That client is unaccustomed to creative work. And so when we send them an outline, they say, it looks good. And when we send a draft, they say, it looks good. And then we design it. And now things are set in cement. And the client says, I don't think my boss likes us writing on this topic. Can we change it? Right? So now locked expectations of 25,000. They already went to their finance team. They got the SOW, they got the budget signed, they got a PO number. So they've already spent all their political capital. And now we're stuck here in a life raft together where they have misset expectations internally. Everything must change, but we've already invested this much time. And that's where you get into real trouble. That's where you, like the situation is the owner, you're like, okay, what am I going to do for the relationship? Am I going to push and we're going to go back for more money where they're going to spend political capital they don't have and look bad? Or you start to eat more of this cost. But having it visualized like this makes it so much easier because without knowing this, you might be just fixated on that 25,000 and thinking, surely that will cover everything. Fine, I'll eat the cost. And then you end up in a world where you've actually spent money on their campaign. Not only didn't make money, you spent money. So you helped fund some Fortune 500 company getting an ebook out the door. In those cases, it's a live and learn thing, right? Which is why the retrospective part is useful, is when you have these, you're like, okay, never again will I just say yes to that 5. I have to know what goes into it.
Which, like, I feel like we've seen that over and over again, where at the onset, people are like, $25,000, that should definitely cover everything. And then folks come to us and they're like, top line, it looks like we're making more money, but I'm ending up with less money at the end of the day, like in my actual pocket. I feel like these are the types of things that help give us guidance there.